Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to Joseph J. Maloney Stadium in the University of Connecticut for the 2016 American Athletic Conference Women's Soccer Championship. Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We'd like to remind all fans that the American Athletic Conference and the University of Connecticut encourages and promotes good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and the officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, or ethnic comments or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated in a grounds or rule from the site of competition. Thank you for your cooperation. Restroom facilities are located in the market with greatest ice forum. And please visit our food stand located next to the scoreboard. While you're at the food stand, you can pick up your official championship t-shirt.
Coming to you live from Maroney Stadium in Storrs, Connecticut, this is the semifinals of the American Athletic Conference Women's Soccer Tournament featuring the USF Bulls and the UConn Huskies here on the American Digital Network. Hi, everybody. Brendan Gulick and Haley Outen with you on a chilly night in Storrs, Connecticut for the second semifinal. We know the winner will play the SMU Mustangs on Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. But as we look at tonight's game, you've got a really talented team in Connecticut, and you've got a USF team that's going to be playing their fourth game in 8 days. So at some point, fatigue is probably going to set in.
It absolutely could set in for USF, but interestingly enough, these two teams met here in Storrs just a couple weeks ago, UConn winning that one 3-1. And one of the keys for USF to win this game today is going to be to contain Stephanie Ribeiro, the Offensive Player of the Year. She's had 19 goals and 12 assists this season, and she scored 2 goals against the Bulls last time. Another one to have to look out for is the conference midfielder of the year in Rachel Hill, who also the Bulls game in 8 days. Fatigue could definitely set in.
USF is a very good team, and they're going to give UConn a run for their money, but it's the Huskies who are fresh and on their home field.
This is their first game of the conference tournament, where USF had to play on Wednesday, a double overtime game, had to win that one in PKs, so the legs are a little more tired for the Bulls today, but the Huskies also have the home field advantage. We're expecting a pretty big crowd here tonight. The Huskies are doing well at home this season.
Well, a couple of key players to look at. Let's start with the visiting USF Bulls. They've got the Conference Rookie of the Year and a very talented player up front in Evelyn Vie.
Yeah, the freshman has had such a standout season, definitely a headliner for this USF team. 16 goals this season and looking for a single season record today.
The UConn Huskies are led by probably the most electrifying scorer in the country, Stephanie Ribeiro.
I mean, these two girls on the UConn team, Stephanie Ribeiro, 19 goals and 12 assists this year. I mean, that's just crazy. But then to have Rachel Hill right by her side, the midfielder of the year, 13 goals and 5 assists, by far more goals than assists than anybody else on this team. Those two are going to be really tough to stop.
USF is championship tested. They are the runner-up in the conference the last 2 years running, but they've got to go through one of the top teams in the country in Connecticut. Got a great semifinal coming your way next with starting lineups and the opening kick on the American Digital Network.
There are other people just like you, driven, determined, those who use passion to spark creation, others who are ready to unite and discover together. It all starts with you and continues with us, the University of South Florida.
This is a classroom.
This is a lab.
This is a study break.
This is family.
This is our backyard.
This is UConn.
Huskies and the Bulls about ready for this semifinal. You get a look at head coach of USF, Denise Schulte-Brown, who just picked up her 100th victory as the leader of the USF program earlier this year. In fact, it was just after the matchup here at this stadium with the UConn Huskies. She's done a tremendous job, but boy, do they have their hands full today. Still with the blue sweatshirt on, the leading scorer in college soccer, Stephanie Ribeiro.
Stephanie Ribeiro looks ready to go tonight, except needs to get that jacket off here in this cold weather, but I'm sure she will be ready to go here in just a couple minutes.
She is a really talented special player. It's fun to watch her go to work. 19 goals on the season, is tied for the lead in the country, and 11 game-winning goals, also first in all of Division I soccer. Usually when she scores, and when she scores early in the game, it's more often than not a Connecticut victory. But again, this is a USF team that is very well tested, and by no means is this a typical 1 versus 4 matchup where you think the number 1 seed might run away from it.
Yeah, I really think that anybody could win this thing. I mean, USF, obviously a very young squad, but this is a very experienced group in the postseason, so we'll see what they can do tonight.
Teams are shaking hands before the game. We already went over our keys to the game. But maybe the one thing we didn't really talk too much about is the fact that the weather is going to be a factor tonight. It's windy, it is freezing cold, and there's no doubt that these two teams are going to have to play in some conditions that are certainly reflective of this calendar month. It's definitely November, and it's definitely late in the season. Another quick look there at the keys to the game. Obviously, Connecticut plays well at home, and they get a good crowd here.
Yeah, absolutely. And containing Ribeiro for USF is going to be so important. She scored 2 goals against them here on this field just a couple weeks ago, especially with her teammate there up top, Rachel Hill. They're a handful. So for USF to win this game, they're going to have to find a way to contain them.
Len Santiris, the head coach for the UConn Huskies, is a soft-spoken man and a guy who has done a great job with this program over the years. As you get a look there at the Huskies during their pregame huddle. The USF played a couple of games last week, finished up their regular season, and then in a really exciting game with the Cincinnati Bearcats in a rematch of last year's championship game. USF and Cincinnati did not score. A 0-0 tie that went all the way to penalty kicks, and it went to sudden death penalty kicks. Haley Johnson for USF went in goal, taking Kat Elliott's place. Haley said after the game that it was very much her telling head coach Denise Schulte-Brown, hey, you know what? This is my specialty. This is where I'm really good. I need you to trust me. And they did.
Yeah, she hadn't stepped foot on the field all game, but she said this was her moment. She knew she could step up. She's been practicing for this particular situation now, so she knew she wanted that opportunity to make a couple saves, and she did just that. But Brendan, that had to have been the craziest finish in PKs, the way Letitia Skeet hit that last one in. I mean, we thought we were going to go into an extra round, and then it's trickling off the post, inches over the goal line. I mean, it was the craziest way to advance to the semifinals.
Well, USF drilled their first two and put all the pressure on the Cincinnati Bearcats. It went to a 6th round sudden death PK shootout. Letitia Skeet hit one that bounced off of the keeper for Cincinnati, bounced off her foot, then hit the post, and then just trickled into the net. It was an incredible finish.
Amazing how a season can be defined by inches, centimeters even. It was insane.
So the Huskies in their white home uniforms and the green and gold visiting jerseys for the USF Bulls. When you're playing in a match like this, and you know that if you're UConn at 16-2-1, it's pretty much a safe bet you're going to go to the NCAA tournament. USF, a different perspective. They have to win this tournament to legitimately have a shot. Otherwise, they're probably on the bubble.
Yeah, I think USF's going to pull out all the stops tonight. There's no way they can rest easy for the NCAA tournament if they cannot win this game and advance to the final on Sunday. They're going to be playing possibly for their life here this season tonight. So I anticipate a very physical game. It's always like that in the postseason.
We'll have a look at the starting lineups here at our first dead ball opportunities, but there's no doubt. We mentioned Evelyn VA, and she will be a key forward for USF. But Andrea Hawksdaughter and Gudrun Sigurdardottir, also key players on the USF side. We're off and running, second semifinal of the day. After this, there's only one game left in the tournament. We've had 2 quarterfinal matchups. We've had now 2 semifinals, and Sunday afternoon, we will crown a champion in the American. UConn, a team that very much likes to attack early in the game, and they've got the presence up front to do it. We'll have to keep our eye on a couple of different players. Obviously, Rachel Hill, a big one. She'll wear number 3, and she's chasing after the ball on the far side there. Stephanie Ribeiro in the middle with the brown ponytail behind her head. Here is the USF Bulls starting lineup. Keep an eye, too, on Grace Adams. She'll play in the midfield and was really active on Wednesday night.
Yeah, they'll need her to step up tonight and really control the game, really control the pace of this game, because UConn can easily run away and get the momentum, so they'll need her to really just set the pace.
Rabo Hawksdaughter has played a significant role in the midfield as well for this USF Bulls group. UConn Huskies will probably go out there with a 4-3-3. Maddie Dom will join Rachel Hill and Stephanie Ribeiro up front. This is Dom that pulls that one away. She'll have number 7 on her back. Dom lofts it toward Ribeiro, who tries to slip through 2 defenders. Open for a moment, and her shot misfired high and wide right. Here's the rest of the UConn starters. We haven't even mentioned Toriana Patterson or Emily Armstrong, who have both had tremendous campaigns.
Yeah, both postseason honorees, great seasons. I mean, they've really anchored that back line, been the vocal leaders that this back line has just used wisely all season long.
That's Grace Adams in the midfield. You might see Trudy Carter running around too. She'll be on the near side. She and Grace Adams are both short players with short, dark hair. So if you're not looking at the numbers, you might get confused. But Trudy Carter will play up more as a forward. You'll see Grace Adams wearing number 6 there in the midfield. Opening couple minutes of play. And the ball rolls out of bounds on the far side. Carlotta Fennefoss, Rabo Hawksdaughter, both pretty good defenders, but they are definitely going to rely on their strength in the defense. And Kelly Burney, as Dom goes after a loose ball, it pops straight up in the air. Kat Elliott goes over and gets it. Well, the Huskies in the opening couple minutes here have had 2 pretty dangerous opportunities that have certainly made the Bulls stop dead in their tracks.
Yeah, that ball comes in. Dom gets her foot on it, pops it up in the air. If only another Husky had been around. Kind of an open net and a very dangerous second opportunity, rather.
UConn went unbeaten in conference play, though they did have 1 draw, and that was against the team who's already punched their ticket to the championship match on Sunday. The SMU Mustangs played a tremendous match earlier today against another pretty good team in Memphis, who is hopeful their season's not over. They're anticipating NCAA tournament play, but they'll need an at-large bid if they're going to get in. Robbo Hochstadter heads the ball toward the middle. Jordan Listro's played in more games than anybody else in program history. 81 matches played prior to today's game. She's a real staple in the middle of the field. Carter went leaping after it.
Especially in the postseason, having a player like Listro on your team, just the experience she brings, she'll be someone who really can bring and corral this group together if things happen to get tough.
Here's a ball played toward Ribeiro at the top of the box. Back out to Trudy Carter. Into the middle of the field. And Andrea Hochstadter clears it away from the middle. Our officials today, Noah Cotterell, and he's assisted by Cassio Ribeiro and Michael Wallace. Opening 5 minutes of the game. Good, strong throw in on the far side for the Huskies. It's a cool, windy night. Ball played toward the middle, and Kat Elliott has been picked on early in this one. USF crossing the ball in a dangerous part of the field. With Ribeiro and company pressed up so far, got to be careful not to make a bad turnover in such a high-scoring area. Grace Adams nicely avoids Alexa Casimiro, the freshman from Connecticut. Listro plays up to Carter. Trudy Carter awfully explosive. That's her best attribute. She goes to the far side of the field. Evelyn Villet unloaded one right off a defender. That ball was rocketed off of Leanne Keegan's. Played back into the box, and it's an easy one-hopper for Emily Armstrong. But that ball was ripped by Villet.
Nice to see her get the ball early on. I know on Wednesday night, in the first half, she had trouble kind of getting involved. So nice to see her getting involved early on. They'll definitely need her the whole 90 minutes today.
Listro plays over toward Villet. Villet, Letitia Skeet, and Trudy Carter will be the three that primarily press forward for the USF Bulls. Rachel Hill on the far side, beat a defender. Finds Ribeiro, who tried to back foot it into the net, and she missed it. Boy, that would have been a Sports Center highlight. Ribeiro gives her a thumbs up.
Yeah, that was the ball she was looking for. Rachel Hill's speed takes her down that sideline, plays it in right in front of her, or right behind her rather, tries to backheel it in to that far post and sneak it past Kat Elliott. That's a tough shot, but hey, got to take chances sometimes.
And the creativity to think about that in the spur of the moment just goes to show Stephanie Ribeiro, she's kind of playing on a different level.
She's not only playing on a different level, but, you know, not every pair on this field could pull something off like that. These two have a lot of chemistry. They've practiced this over and over again, year after year. So they're going to try to attempt things that most others wouldn't. The first time that these two teams played, a 3-1 final. UConn had scored the first 3 goals of the game. First 2 were off the foot of Ribeiro, and then she made a gorgeous assist, crossing the ball to the back post where Rachel Hill headed it in off of a fast break play. Really nice. So those two scored and or assisted on all 3 goals that UConn put up against USF a couple of weeks back. And it was on senior day.
It was. Ribeiro had a chance to do that in front of her father, who made the trip. Surprised her coming in from Brazil. She had no idea he would be here. By the way, you get a look at the UConn football team, who trails early in their game. It's a busy day for the Huskies. They've got a swim meet, basketball game, a football game, and, of course, a very meaningful women's soccer match here at home. Good play there by the Bulls, avoiding several white jerseys. Trudy Carter on the attack. Villet appears to still be onside, and she'll bring it into the corner. Villet comes back, but she had a slide tackle, poke it free. Grace Adams lost her footing. You know, I wonder how slippery the surface is, because in our first semifinal, in pretty much that exact same spot where Grace Adams just slipped a little bit, we saw a couple of players sliding around. I wonder if maybe it's just a tough spot on the field. Keep our eye on that. Adams controls. Launches from a long way away. She missed it off to the right. Not a bad idea, just keeping Emily Armstrong honest.
Tough shot from that far out, but surprisingly hit it very strong, just a little off mark. But Emily Armstrong definitely ready for that one.
Senior goalkeeper who has rightfully so attracted a lot of attention across the conference. In most eyes, the top keeper in the league this year. UConn and USF in the opening 9 minutes. No score yet, but UConn has really put together a couple of good efforts against the Bulls. Meanwhile, USF had one opportunity of their own that did not find the net. In the run of play in our first 3 games, we've had 2 overtime games and we've had 1 regulation game, but a total of 3 goals. So we have not seen much scoring in this tournament so far. Look at Maddie Dahm just sidestepping defenders. She crosses back across her body. This is Drool who got fisted down. Drool was trying to redirect it in front to Stephanie Ribeiro. Heidi Drool, a sophomore from Stamford, Connecticut. Just about an hour and a half or so from campus. Ribeiro and Carter going at it. Ribeiro crosses. You can tell she's disappointed with herself. As soon as she struck it, she knew a little bit off target. And a USF throw-in coming.
Maybe a home game for UConn tonight, but I can hear the Bulls fans in the stands right now.
They are definitely making their presence known. Trying to neutralize this home field advantage. A rocket throw-in on the far side. We've seen a couple of those now from Connecticut. And then this ball stays with the Huskies. Well, they keep rolling the ball around on the far side. Good strong throw, looking for Ribeiro in the box. Back out to Rachel Hill. Very well defended, and the Bulls pulled away. Obviously, we talked about containing Hill and Ribeiro, but even when they are going to get their open looks, because I don't think it really matters who UConn is playing, those two are good enough that they're going to find spacing. You have to find ways to just make sure that they don't get too open. And if you have a defender beat, have somebody else there, kind of like they were on that back line.
They're going to get chances. It's all about just limiting how dangerous those chances are, making it tough for them. If they're going to score, make them earn it.
Ribeiro tried to redirect it to her right. Instead, back into the middle of the defense where Kelly Burney is anchoring tonight. Adams on the far side. Rolls to Andrea Hochstadter.
Good control here by USF, keeping the ball, working it out from the back.
Trudy Carter. Like the Bulls spacing at the moment, though Maddie Dahm forced a turnover. Casemiro was right there. Back to Rachel Hill, and now to Alana Moore, the freshman midfielder. Far side, into the corner. Casemiro. Vinceguerra. Little high and a little off to the right. Kristen Vinceguerra, the freshman forward from Saddie River, New Jersey. She's had a nice freshman campaign, starting to figure out how to play here in the conference tournament. A few good minutes for her so far, but that shot was a little off.
To try to take a shot, maybe chip the keeper far post, but just over the net.
Heidi Drool on the throw-in. Ribeiro heads it in front of Kelly Burney, who turns around and knocks it off of Ribeiro out of bounds. So Ribeiro's been part of the game plan early. That's certainly what UConn has had in mind. Kudos to the way that USF has defended her, though. With the exception of one chance early in the game, she really hasn't had too many open looks. Keegan's from her center back spot. Over to the far side. Alana Moore, 1 touches. Over to Vinceguerra. Back to Moore. No room on the sideline, and she slips and falls. She actually faked out her defender and keeps it. Moore plays it in. USF tried to send it away. Second time's a charm. Alana Moore's falling over actually kept that possession alive and gave him a real chance.
Worked out well.
I'm not sure that's how she drew it up. No score in the 13th minute. Hill contests it. 3-on-3. Into the middle for Ribeiro. Her shot's deflected. Maddie Dahm back into the middle. Hill, and it's scooped up by Kat Elliott.
You know what I like about UConn's offense right now is while Ribeiro is that one sitting up top, every time she gets the ball, there's at least 2 or 3 Huskies around her. They get up very quick in transition.
Connecticut 16-2-1 on the season. They lost only twice to Rutgers and to the #1 team in the country, Florida State. Those were both shutout losses, 2-0 to Rutgers and 3-0 to the Seminoles down in Tallahassee. But since then, only one draw, and they have not been beaten. A really nice turnaround, 11-0-1 since that loss at FSU. Lob down the far side. Here's Hill attacking. Looking to the middle. USF just trying to keep it out of dangerous spots. I think if USF can play UConn to a draw, at least through the first half, they're going to feel pretty good about where they're at because of the way this Husky team attacks.
Especially how this game started for them just a couple weeks ago. I think just not letting, like you said, UConn get on the board early is going to be a big step in the right direction for them this game.
Yeah, the best thing that USF can do, and I don't want to mispaint the picture. This isn't like a David versus Goliath matchup. UConn is a beatable team. They're a very disciplined team and a very talented team. But USF belongs here in this semifinal. Get a look there at the foul. Letitia Skeet, a little physical. And I think it's going to have to be plays like that from Skeet, from Evelyn VA, from Andrea Huxdaughter. They've got to let UConn know, hey, you know what? We're not going to be pushing around here tonight. Good tackle and a play on. Ribeiro, top of the box, turns and shoots it right to Kat Elliott. So again, this is not a one-sided matchup, but there's no doubt that the pressure is going to be on USF, given the prominency of this UConn offense and the fact that they're comfortable, they're at home.
Now, this USF team is very talented. They may look a little bit different this year, but still a lot of talent, maybe just lacking a little bit of experience in certain areas, but you definitely can't count them out of anything at this point. They have come to compete this week.
Struck up the far side. Evelyn VA, who has not touched it in a short while, let it roll out of bounds, and her teammate will throw it to her. UConn's already ripped 5 shots, 2 on goal. 1 shot for USF, but it was wide to the right from Grace Adams. Long way out. More than 15 minutes into regulation, though. Nobody has scored yet. USF in the midfield. Well, they change side here now. It's Rabo Huxdaughter. No relation, by the way, to Andrea Huxdaughter. Just a common Icelandic last name. Grace Adams dumps it off left side. Andrea Huxdaughter to VA in the corner, who touches toward the net. Looks like the Temple Owls have put another touchdown across against the Huskies, so Temple a little more than midway through the first quarter with a 2-touchdown advantage over UConn.
And Temple's looking pretty good this year right now, sitting in first place in the East Division standings. Tied with USF, but the head-to-head tiebreaker favors for Temple. They just met a couple weeks ago. The Owls winning that one in Philadelphia.
Still lots to be decided all across the fall sports platform. Things are starting to tighten up a little bit. But we've got a fun soccer tournament planned next week on the men's side as well. Ribeiro tried to throw it forward, and I'll tell you what, Rabo Huxdaughter never felt Maddie Dom on her left hip. And Maddie Dom nearly put one in the back of the net.
Huxdaughter was lucky to get her foot on it, just touching it, because Dom was ready right there to finish it. Far post. Here's another look. The ball comes in, rolls. It looks like Dom's going to get her foot on it, but Huxdaughter just knocks it out with the outside of her foot for a corner, but this could be another dangerous opportunity right here.
So the Huskies will play in from the corner. It's a short corner. Right back to Ribeiro. Well, she tried to slip it through and create a shot. Never happened. VA is fouled. She's fouled by Vincent Guerra. A little hand tugging there. It wasn't egregious, but the official favored USF. So the Bulls will get a chance to reset things. Hawksdaughter in the middle. Finds Trudy Carter. Both teams with their original starters on the field still at this point. Hawksdaughter finds Grace Adams. Wow, Rachel Hill found that and sniffed it out quickly. Those are the kinds of things that Hill can do so well. And now Ribeiro in space. Looking for her 20th goal of the year. To Maddie Dom. Back to Ribeiro, who boxed out a defender. And the whistle blows.
Kelly Burney did something very smart right there. She saw Ribeiro obviously coming at her with speed, and there's not much you can do in that situation, especially against a forward like Ribeiro. So she delayed, she stalled her, waited for that help to come and support her.
Underrated move, but an effective one as Fennefoss goes to work. Dumps it back toward the middle. Burney decides to let Listro pull it forward. Bravo Hawksdaughter pressing up a little bit into the midfield. Listro's back defensively now. Nearly turned over as Maddie Dom tracks it down and reverses pitch. Leanne Keegans has done a nice job in the middle of the defense all season long. And while Toriana Patterson is going to get a lot of the credit, Keegans deserves some too, no doubt. Couple of quick touch passes as USF tries to keep this possession going. I like the idea, it just didn't execute there from Listro.
Brendan, look how far Evelyn VA is tracking back now, kind of playing that left midfield role. Seems like they might be trying to switch it up a little bit to maybe get her the ball.
Ribeiro attacking from the left side. Unleashes right into the belly of the keeper. Well, she hit it with a little bit of side spin. It curled back to the left a little bit. It was certainly struck well.
Yeah, she strikes it well. And the one thing about Ribeiro's shots today is that they're on goal.
Hawksdaughter pressing to VA. Well defended. Very nicely done by Sabrina Toole, the junior. Rachel Hill one-on-one, beats a defender. Threads it up to Casemiro. That's too far ahead of Stephanie Ribeiro. So far, the USF Bulls rising to the challenge. Halfway through the first half. No score in the 4-versus-1 matchup in our second semifinal of the game. Trudy Carter into a double team. And the Huskies knock it out of bounds. Both games, not yesterday, but Wednesday, went to penalty kicks. The 4 seed beat the 5 seed in PKs as we get a good look at the crowd on hand, all bundled up. And the 3 seed SMU topped the 6 seed UCF. So all chalk in the tournament until our first semifinal when SMU topped Memphis in the 2-3 matchup. That was a really good game. In the middle, Hawksdaughter in space. Under the defense. And then Toriana Patterson slid in the way. Boy, that was a golden chance. Now it's Hill on the attack. Ribeiro to the corner. Hill sprinting back to the middle. Ribeiro around Fennefoss. Centers and Elliott punched it out. My goodness. You almost wonder if USF can continue to play at that pace all night. VA tried to change field. Back to the Huskies. Didn't mean to interrupt you earlier.
Oh, no.
We had a shot coming from Hawksdaughter there.
We were just talking about SMU, and I was going to say, how about Claire Oates this week? Coming up clutch. 2 games now for the Mustangs.
The only 2 goals the Mustangs have scored in regulation off of corner kicks and off of Claire Oates' forehead. Yesterday, I'm going to get this right one of these days.
Brendan.
Wednesday night. It was in the 63rd minute. And at that point, it tied the game at 1, forcing overtime eventually. Today, in a scoreless game, she headed in a corner in the 84th minute. Huskies trying to go to the middle. Go ahead.
I was going to say, that 6 feet tall, she's just using her size well out there.
She is certainly one of the two bigger targets for SMU, and she'll pose a threat, no doubt, for either one of these two teams. As the Huskies are going to make their first substitution, Rachel Hill and Maddie Dahm have run all over the field. So Maddie Dahm gets a break. The other Husky coming off is Alexa Casemiro. They are replaced by Tanya Altrui and Kim Urbanik. Altrui, the junior forward. She'll play on the left side wearing number 29 with the slightly red hair. Standing right near the American logo at the moment. Meanwhile, Kat Elliott will kick away yet again. 6 shots, 3 on goal for the Huskies so far. Playing in the 24th minute of action. I like the speed with which the Huskies are playing right now, especially when they're chasing after loose balls. More often than not, they are beating USF to a ball. Trudy Carter coming off the field, and so is Letitia Skeet. And as per usual, the first 2 USF Bulls off the bench, Jess Hamrick and Jordan Tuttle. Tuttle wears 24. You just saw her fixing her shin guard for a moment as Robbo Hochstadter throws it in. Tuttle races back defensively as UConn will throw in. All right, back to the heart of the defense. Listro. Fennefoss in the middle. Really haven't seen much of Evelyn Villet over the last few minutes, but she just made a nice through pass there. Up to Hamrick in the corner. The Huskies clamp down on her quickly. And every time USF has gotten the ball in a good offensive spot, the Huskies close down so quickly defensively, they just can't really get anything going. There's no doubt UConn is playing like the big kid on the block, kind of bullying their way around. Grace Adams in the corner. Adams with 2 defenders to beat. She blasts it off one of them, and so a corner kick coming. Vinciguerra the last to touch it. Good play there by Adams, and Hochstadter runs over to take it.
There's a different way when USF attacks. When UConn attacks, there's just so many players surrounding the ball. Everyone's running, and over there in the corner, kind of isolated. People just waiting in the box for the ball.
So here comes a corner kick. Hochstadter toward the middle, and it's cleared away. Rachel Hill almost knocked it out of bounds. Played back toward the middle. Tuttle was almost in a perfect spot, and the defense barely got to it for UConn. Rachel Hill, play on. 3-on-3. And it's cleared out of bounds by Burney, but a corner kick coming. Constant pressure by USF. And while everybody is marking Hill and Ribeiro, I know she's not out there right now, but Maddie Dahm has played very well so far in this game. You also saw some great early pressure from Casemiro, and their replacements have not let up at all. Altrui playing to the front post as Ribeiro sends it in. Headed away by Grace Adams. Toole lofts it forward. The offside flag does not go up. Altrui keeps it alive, but USF sends it free. Winner of this game gets the SMU Mustangs on Sunday afternoon with a conference title on the line and the automatic berth to the NCAA tournament. The Huskies are likely going anyways. SMU probably going to get in. USF, they would really bolster their chances by at least beating Connecticut tonight. That one was misstruck. Heidi Drool tried to throw it toward the middle and caught the ball too squarely.
The one great thing about Ribeiro and Hill being such dangerous players and USF having to worry so much about them, at least for UConn, is that if they're marked up or even double teamed, it opens up other people.
Sure. Well, the UConn Huskies are not a two-man wrecking crew, even though those two have scored the majority of the goals. By no stretch is that a reference to the fact that no one else is capable. I don't think that's fair to say at all. UConn is a really good team in every sense of the word. When you win 16 of the 19 games you play, it's more than just because you've got two players that know what they're doing. Their midfield play has been great. Toriana Patterson, one of the best defenders in the conference. Emily Armstrong, one of the best keepers in the conference, as Listro chases after it. They were both recognized by the conference office on the first team all-conference ballots. Adams in room. Tuttle, fake left. Listro never moved, and so Tuttle's got to take it herself. And that ball was knocked off of Heidi Druhl's foot out of bounds. Well, she looks a little frustrated at the moment, trying to figure out why she was the only one that was really moving around. Looking for Evelyn Villet, potentially. Didn't have enough behind the throw-in. Bulls throw. Joined us late. Brendan Gulick and Haley Outen with you from Maroney Stadium in Connecticut. Televising all of the quarterfinal and semifinal matchups on the American Digital Network as USF substitutes Nikki Lauterbach into the ballgame. She'll replace Brianna Blethen. We will also televise Sunday's championship game, and that one will be live on ESPNU. It will also air online. You can watch it on the Watch ESPN app or on ESPN3.com. Adams back into the defense. Kelly Burney. Robbo Hawksdaughter looking into the middle. Controlled for a moment. Listro over to the far corner now as you see VA has moved from left forward into the center. That ball lofted on net and pretty easy for Emily Armstrong to close down onto it. So a slight positional change for the conference Rookie of the Year. Robbo Hawksdaughter into the middle now. Adams gives it up. Venefoss to the far side. Listro trying to figure things out in the middle. USF probably happy with the result so far on a scoreless draw. This is played up to Tuttle and in a good scoring chance. She centers. Headed away. Not out of danger yet. To the right side, back toward Tuttle. And that time it was knocked off or out of bounds. Another look there at the Tuttle cross over the middle. Keegan's got a head on it, but headed it right back toward the middle of the field. This one played toward the near right post. Peyton Cook just checked in. She was the one that lobbed it on net there. And she's got the ball in her hand. Peyton Cook, the senior from Glen Allen, Virginia. A few seniors on this USF team. Hoping that tonight is not their final game. VA, the rookie. Adams. Keeps it alive. Hamrick knocks it backwards. Rachel Hill deflects the pass into the middle, and finally the Huskies take possession back. Just frustrating USF. Well, Burney thought she cleanly held off Ribeiro, and maybe the only other person in the stadium that felt the same way was the official. Everybody else seems to be up in arms. Listro to the middle. VA onside. A chance, and it goes right to Armstrong. Oh, VA can't believe it. USF with a point-blank chance.
That was one of the opportunities that Evelyn VA really needed to capitalize on for this Bulls team. Coach Schulte Brown has definitely been trying to probably get her more involved by moving her around the field. This ball so nicely, so perfectly slipped through that gap.
Tuttle trying to keep this opportunity alive for the Bulls. Held off. That may have been last touch by USF. Another look at VA's really good chance.
Right to the keeper. Anywhere but there.
I know you're splitting hairs a little bit, but could she have taken maybe one more dribble?
You know, tough to say, but I think you look up and 9 out of 10 times where you face is where the ball's going to go, and she was facing the keeper, played it right to her, but even something knocking it with the outside of her foot to that near post, there was an opening.
Gudrun Sigurdardottir checks in for VA, who received a hug from her head coach, Denise Schulte Brown. Probably said something to her to the effect of keep your head right because we're going to need you. USF will rely heavily on their talented young freshmen, but Sigurdardottir scored here a couple of weeks ago, and she's checked in at the center forward spot. Meanwhile, terrific move by Altrui, looking for the top of the box, and USF steps in the way. Ribeiro rolls for Hill, off of Elliott. Beautiful save by Kat Elliott. She had it all the way.
That was a great save by Kat Elliott. Ribeiro gets that ball, and like she just knows where Hill's going to be, is able to play her without even really looking up.
You can tell USF is getting more confident as this game is going along. It almost feels like they are starting to feel that this game is falling to their pace and that UConn might be pressing a little too hard.
Well, UConn's had some good chances. The good thing for USF is they have such a strong goalkeeper in the net. She's come up big this game, but they're going to need everybody from the back all the way up front.
Hill tried to get around, lobbed it toward the middle, and that one was too easily at Kat Elliott. Keep your eye on Kim Urbanik as well, the sophomore from Germany, who's playing right in the middle. She's had a couple of touches in big spots, too. A header over toward Hamrick. Looking for Sigurdardottir. This is Urbanik to Ribeiro. Right idea to play over to Rachel Hill, but sent away. Less than 9 minutes left in the first half. The UConn Huskies, the #1 seed and one of the top teams in the country. Depending on which poll you're looking at, they are ranked in the top 10 in one poll. They ranked in the top 20 in another. No matter where you look, though, a talented group. Play to the middle, very well defended. Boy, USF marked everybody in the box. No room there for Altrui or for Ribeiro in the middle. Listro clamps down defensively, and she puts it forward. Green gloves on. Finds Tuttle, out of bounds. I love the way USF is playing right now.
The USF defense has had such great awareness around them. I mean, there's players flying in right and left, but they're able to use their bodies, shield off the right balls in, and clear them out.
Urbanik back to the middle. This is probably the most exciting game of the 4 we've had so far here this week. Even though there hasn't been a goal yet, it feels like it could come at any moment. Rachel Hill beats a defender. From the box, laces it to the upper 90. UConn strikes first on Rachel Hill's left foot, and the Huskies lead 1-0 late in the first half.
Well, Brendan, you said it could come at any minute, and just like that.
A beautiful move by Rachel Hill. Even though her teammate is the leading scorer in the country, Rachel Hill still gets a fair number of really high-quality shots off.
She's able to hold off that defender, gets some space with the left foot, looks far post, drives it in. There was no way Kat Elliott was saving that. Beautiful shot by Rachel Hill, her 14th goal of the season.
Tremendous effort by Hill. So the Huskies take the 1-0 lead, and I think the next 7 minutes and change are critical for USF. They don't have to score, but they have to show that they haven't just hung their heads here.
USF needs to get into halftime without making any critical mistakes. Just keep your composure, show that you haven't given up. Get into the locker room, figure some things out.
Altrui up the near sideline. Goes to work and beats 2 defenders. Can't beat a third, though the ball did stay in bounds. Wow. What a fabulous goal. In the midfield. Ribeiro with her back to the net. Beats a defender. Lobs right off Grace Adams. Got it back. This is Altrui on the near side. Left foot into the middle. Defense closes down, but Fennefoss nearly tripped over the ball and created another opportunity. Huskies lead 1-0. Sigurdardottir back toward Fennefoss in the defense. Actually, I beg your pardon, that's Jess Hamrick on the far side. Listro looking toward the center forward. Toriana Patterson really pressed up there. There's Kelly Burney. Adams surveys the defense. Almost looks like UConn's gone into a 4-2-3-1 in terms of a formation. A very aggressive look. Altrui tries to run it down, but Burney clears it away.
It's really an interesting formation. It gives them the flexibility to do a lot of things, both offensively and defensively. Ribeiro usually sitting high up top, but she has 3 players near her to help her attack and 3 players to help get back as well.
Urbanik dumps it off. Alana Moore rockets one right to Kat Elliott. Elliott not phased after giving up a goal a couple of moments ago.
Rachel Hill's goal couldn't have been more perfectly placed. Kat Elliott's played such a great game. Hopefully for her, she doesn't let that goal get to her anytime during this game.
Rachel Hill's 38th minute goal has put the Huskies ahead by 1 tally here late in the first half. Andrea Hawksdottir got the defense where she wanted them, but Hamrick could not convert. Evelyn VA standing on the near sideline, wrapped up in a dark black, thick winter jacket, trying to stay warm, waiting for her chance to get back out there. She was not much of a factor, though she did play a couple balls close to the net. Kat Elliott's had a terrific year in goal. She gave up a goal here a couple of moments ago that was definitely not her fault. Listro comes to the near side, plays back toward the middle. Hawksdottir back to Listro, touches to the corner and Tuttle. Tuttle centers it, and it's over the top of the net. Before the goal kick, a USF substitution is Alyssa Nickel. Freshman midfielder checks in. Jordan Listro catches her breath. The temperature tonight is supposed to cool off to a low of 28. Now, it's not that cold yet. It is still in the low 40s. It'll probably be in the upper 30s by the time the game concludes. Got to find a way to stay warm and loose as best you can when you're not in the game. And it is proving to be a little bit of a slick surface tonight. I've seen a lot of different times for both teams. I've seen players kind of lose their footing. Sigurdardottir in a really good spot, but she couldn't control it, and Adams jumped over the ball. Ribeiro looking for help. Urbanik looking around, gives to Ribeiro. Almost lost it. Over to Rachel Hill, far side. Back to Ribeiro. Elliott attacking, and she swipes at the ball with her foot and knocks it out of bounds for a goal kick off of Ribeiro. Boy, if Elliott's going to close down on that, she has to do that quickly.
She went in with her feet there to try to tap it out of bounds, but risky play. Rachel Hill, though, that was a dangerous ball, mainly because she played it one touch, gave Ribeiro an opportunity to run onto it.
Tuttle off of a UConn defender. Huskies are not having a good day on the gridiron, but they are winning 1-0 here in the semifinal of the American Conference Tournament. A date with the SMU Mustangs on Sunday afternoon on the line for a 2016 American Championship match. Sigurdardóttir, triple teamed. Dumps it off to the right side now, and Hawksdóttir toward Tuttle, right of the box. Centered toward the middle, headed away, and it's out of bounds for a corner kick in the final minute here of the first half. UConn's defense held strong in a spot where they really needed to.
Not sure that's the clearance she was hoping for. That header out for the corner across her own goal would have probably been a little bit safer to try to flick it on and go out of bounds to the far side of the field.
Andrea Hawksdóttir will take the corner kick. Sigurdardóttir is close to her. Jordan Tuttle in the middle. Everybody else kind of on the backside. It's a corner kick, jump ball. Well, kind of came down at a Husky foot and sent away. Not really what the Bulls had in mind. Final 30 seconds of the first half. Rachel Hill has changed sides of the field now. She's playing all the way on the near side. Maybe that was partially because of the formation on the corner kick. Just needed to fill into a void. Final 10 seconds of the half. And it looks like we may not even have the ball put back into play. Rachel Hill with a tremendous goal in the 38th minute. And the Huskies take a 1-0 lead into the locker room, but USF has played very well.
USF has definitely played well, and they did what they needed to do in these last 7 minutes, not letting UConn get another goal on the board. But they're going to have to change a few things here at halftime to pull closer to this 1-0 deficit here in the second half.
So USF starting to make their way off the field. They've got some things to think about. They've had some opportunities. Kat Elliott has had a tremendous game so far. She's very much been on her toes and has made a couple of really nice saves, but she was not able to come up with Rachel Hill's perfectly struck ball earlier. It's 1-0 at halftime. The Huskies take the lead. We'll be back with the second half after this timeout on the American Digital Network.
There are other people just like you. Driven, determined. Those who use passion to spark creation. Others who are ready to unite and discover together. It all starts with you and continues with us, the University of South Florida.
A year removed from a program record 15-win season, the USF soccer team hasn't missed a beat. And despite the graduation of 8 seniors, the team has seamlessly blended youth and experience.
And you're bringing in this whole new class of freshmen, and you've worked so hard to implement principles of offense and defense and the way you want your program to run on and off the field, and you're thinking, oh, we're starting from scratch. This is going to be tough. And this group has just gelled really, really quickly. And even though they're young, they're eager, and almost their ignorance has been blissful.
It gelled really quickly, and they are a great addition to the team. And I think that what we did with them and how we've all come together has been amazing. I think the people that are here with experience helped them a lot because we kind of knew we had more of a burden. We had all these new people that we had to help out and help them get adjusted.
They're your teammate, they're your friend, and they really, I don't think they needed much help really joining in. Like, it's such a talented group.
And after back-to-back heartbreaking losses in the conference championship, this year, the Bulls want to write their own destiny.
Each year, the previous 2 years, we've been really close. in each of them. We've lost in PKs for the past 2 years. So this year, we don't want to leave it up to chance. We don't want to leave it up to PKs. We want to take care of business ahead of time.
From being here for 3 years, this is one of the most special years, and I know people say that, but I genuinely mean that. It's a different group, and I'm excited about it. So I think we're going to take what we have, and we're going to keep working through the rest of the season, and we're going to continue to take care of business because that's what we do best.
We can't get complacent. We have to be willing to push ourselves every single day. So winning, that's our job. So every day we have to go out and do our best to make sure we can win.
The winning starts with the head coach and Denise Schulte-Brown's ability to connect with her players.
You know, I think it's relationship building. I would love to tell you that I know every win and every hard loss, and that's ingrained in my brain, but it doesn't really, it doesn't work like that for me. I'm really, really competitive. I want to win every game, but I know the big picture from coaching this long now, that what you really take away is relationships.
I think it says that she's done an excellent job at turning the program around. She's a very determined woman, and she knows what it takes to win, and I think that she has put a lot of effort and strength into the program, and just getting to 100 wins is an excellent accomplishment for her.
She's actually helped me grow so much as a person and kind of come out of my shell, and so I'm so proud of her and how she is now coming up to her 100th win.
She's always open to if anybody needs anything, whether it's soccer related or non-soccer related, and she's just kind of always been there for all of us. So I think she's a great person, a great coach, and she really, really wants to bring out the best in all of us.
I'm not really surprised she's coming up on her 100th win. That girl loves to win. And it's infectious, it's contagious. Even in practices, if you're not trying to win a little 3v3 scrimmage or a 5v2 keep away, Denise isn't happy. So it's just kind of gotten ingrained in all of us that it's all about winning. And so I'm really proud for Denise.
As Denise Schulte-Brown prepares to hit 100 wins, it serves as a signpost for USF's success from the past, present, and to the future. For Campus Connect from USF, I'm Mike Lefko.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
This is a classroom.
This is a lab.
This is a study break.
This is family.
This is our backyard.
This is UConn.
Being at a place known for their success on the hardwood, many people tend to overlook what goes on here on the pitch at UConn. And if you've attended any UConn women's soccer games this year, the names Stephanie Ribeiro and Rachel Hill are names you hear early and often over the PA system, as the two are the leading goal scorers for the team and are two of the most recognized players in the conference.
Both of them are very composed with the ball. Rachel has that extremely extra, the extra speed that gets behind defenders, and Steph is very skillful and sees the field well. So the combination is very, very good.
The two players have a nose for the ball on the pitch.
And we set each our individual goals, and then together how many goals we think we can score, with her assisting me assisting her. So it's kind of fun.
She just loves running, so I just play her the ball and she'll just run onto it and score, which is good. And then I'll check to the ball, get it, and then just find her. So it's good. We work well together.
This season has been an interesting one for Ribeiro. Coming off winning American Athletic Conference Midfielder of the Year, she switched her position to forward this season, a switch she has become very comfortable with.
Coming in, I was a center forward, so it's kind of nice going back to that position. And I'm more familiar with it, so I'm more comfortable being up there.
Hill says having Ribeiro by her side has made her job easier as a leader.
I mean, it definitely takes a lot of pressure off of both of us, I think. We know we can always rely on each other as well as the rest of the team. And so, I mean, it's our 4th year playing together, and we know that we're just always there for each other. It's a relief.
The good, the mature players, they find the right opportunities and they're capable of finishing. I mean, that's their qualities as players.
For Campus Connect, from UConn, I'm Hector Molina.
Is hit deep to left center, and that is over the wall and gone.
There it is, fly ball deep to left field. This one is gone.
And it wasn't an easy road to get here.
No question. They had to go through Cincinnati, Temple, and Memphis. Through the
Rise up, get your hands up. We're taking over the game. And if you're looking for change, I suggest you do the same. Come on, y'all, it's time to rise up. Get your hands up. We're taking over the game. And if you're looking for change, I suggest you do the same.
There are other people just like you. Driven, determined. Those who use passion to spark creation. Others who are ready to unite and discover together. It all starts with you and continues with us, the University of South Florida.
This is a classroom.
This is a lab.
This is a study break.
This is family.
This is our backyard.
This is UConn.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Halftime of the semifinal between the UConn Huskies and the USF Bulls. A very well played and a pretty exciting first half. But we only got one goal in the first half from Rachel Hill as we take a look at some of the numbers, which in some ways are going to heavily favor the Huskies.
Yeah, no doubt. UConn outshooting USF 9-2, and 6 of those shots for the Huskies on goal compared to USF, who only has 2 shots today. Both of those by Evelyn Vier, who really hasn't been able to get as involved as USF needs her to be.
Kat Elliott has done a really good job in net. You could tell from the opening kick she has really been on her toes. Some of the balls that have come her way haven't been too difficult. Others, she's really had to position herself in the right spot.
She's really laid her body on the line today. She's coming up for balls. She's being aggressive. She's come up with some really big saves. Obviously, the goal by Rachel Hill, I don't think you can blame that one on her. Upper left-hand corner, there was really no saving that for Kat Elliott, unfortunately. But she might give them the momentum they need. When you come up with a big save like that as a goalkeeper, it kind of fires your team up, and they want to help her out.
From a defensive perspective from USF, when you take Elliott out of the equation, what are you looking more from some of the backline defense when you talk about Kelly Burney or Carlotta Fennefoss?
You know, the USF defense is actually playing a pretty good game, I would say. They're covering, they're staying pretty well connected. They're even trying to connect out of the back. The problem is when UConn's going at them time and time and time again, they're eventually going to break down, and more importantly, they're going to get tired, especially in their 4th game in, 8 days. So they're going to eventually break down. They can only do so much. The USF midfield is going to have to get control of this game, find the forwards' feet, and actually get them involved and be dangerous.
Denise Schulte-Brown more bundled up than any of her players will be in a moment. It is 42 degrees here in Stores, which, believe it or not, is actually a little warmer than we had originally anticipated. So no complaints about that, but that doesn't mean that it isn't cold weather not a factor. Not trying to make something out of nothing, but believe me, you can see everybody kind of standing around, and it is definitely a chilly night. Meanwhile, we've talked about the USF defense. How about the UConn defense? Because the couple of little opportunities USF has gotten, for example, Evelyn Vier on that quick, fast break where she nearly scored. Emily Armstrong made a great save. Or when we've seen Sigrid Ardaughter get the ball a couple of times, there are 2 or 3 Huskies there every single time to close the gap.
They really are, and they're staying really well connected. But from all the way from Emily Armstrong and up through the midfield, they're just defending, I think, UConn as a group really impressively and kind of interesting, while the back line is extremely solid and giving great support to one another. When you see Rachel Hill, who's playing forward or midfield or whatever you want to call it, working her way back, that's when you know that's really team defense.
45 minutes in the books. 45 minutes left before we figure out who will play the SMU Mustangs in Sunday afternoon's conference title game. At the moment, the Huskies have a 1-0 lead, but USF had a really good season, 12-3-3 entering play. They actually didn't lose at the first 9 games of the season. They started the season 9-0, a tremendous year for them. Then they got into conference and took a couple of little lumps, but they have very much earned their way here to the conference semifinal, and each of the last 2 years in a row, they have been the conference runner-up, so they are tournament tested. Off and running in the second half, USF in green, UConn in white as the teams change directions here for half number 2. Didn't see a lot of Letitia Skeet as Evelyn Vier quickly gets an opportunity. Once Letitia Skeet checked out 25 minutes into the game, she did not return, so she is very well rested here for the second half.
USF will need Letitia Skeet to step up. She's one of the few seniors out on this field. They're really going to need her presence and leadership if they want to get back in this one.
Brianna Blethen has it cleared away. USF trying to play aggressor here in the first couple of minutes. Fennefoss feeds it up. Hawk's daughter lobs it over to the middle. And it's the UConn Huskies that knock it out. Good move by Altrui, who came on in the 26th minute in that first half, and she's out there actually to start the second half. She and Kim Urbanik, who has the ball at her feet, both played the last 21 minutes of the half. Lob to the corner now, just a little too far forward for Rachel Hill.
Altrui didn't start this game, but she's definitely made an impact coming in. And we were talking about it in the first half, Ribeiro and Hill taking a lot of maybe, a little bit of a distraction, always marking them, but that opens up somebody like Altrui who can really come in and contribute.
UConn faithful, no matter how cold it is, they are out here supporting the Huskies, who are looking for a conference championship and the automatic berth into the NCAA tournament next week. Couple of headers into a bad spot for the Huskies. Listro got it out. Boy, that was dangerous. Rachel Hill nearly had it in the middle of the field, top of the box. Alana Moore sends it to the middle. Urbanik almost got it right back. Well, I'll tell you what, when UConn's had the ball here in the first couple of minutes, it's just sort of felt like, where are they going to slip that little pass through? Here's VA, who stays on sides. Trying to go right back through to Skeet. She got it around Vinciguerra. Slipped to the middle. Good chance for USF. Cleared away.
She showed some real toughness right there, just trying to keep fighting for that ball, slip it through in any way, and ended up playing a great ball, just no one there to get on the end of it.
USF definitely played aggressively in the first half. They weren't going to let UConn walk all over them, and they certainly won't lay down here in the second half. Vinciguerra came in from behind, and Evelyn VA said, "Get out of my way."
She was running through no matter what.
Throw in on the far side. Well, we talked about the keys to the game and UConn needing to try and use their fresh legs to their advantage. They've certainly looked fresh tonight. USF needs to contain Hill and Ribeiro, and I think they've done a pretty good job of that. Unfortunately, the only goal, Rachel Hill just made a tremendous move, and she remarkably struck it perfectly to the upper left 90. VA stayed on side, but she was nowhere near the ball as it came down. Emily Armstrong grabs it in the box. USF, again, just to reiterate, they've only lost 3 games this season. This is a very good USF team. But right now, the Huskies are in control.
They were the last team in the NCAA to lose a game this year. In fact, SMU, who's going to the final tomorrow, was the one to give it to them.
Just goes to show the strength of competition here in the conference in 2016. Obviously, Connecticut as the #1 seed and the only team that went unbeaten in conference play. They were the favorites going into this tournament, but I think all 6 teams really had a case to say, you know what, we could win this tournament if we get hot. You saw the Bearcats of Cincinnati last year as the 4 seed win it all. Ribeiro launches and scores! How did she slip it through Kelly Burney? 2-0 Connecticut. A lightning fast goal from Ribeiro.
That was not what USF needed to start this second half. Just 5 minutes in, and the UConn Huskies get on the board again, up 2-0. Ribeiro, nice little move. I mean, perfect placement. Drives it in, rather, to the keeper's right-hand side on the ground. Not a lot of players can make that shot. Great finish by Ribeiro.
Her national leading 20th goal of the season. UConn leads by a pair, and now things have very much shifted in favor of USF. A lot of times, it's not just as important who scores first. Sometimes it's just as important, or more so, who scores next. USF had a couple of chances to try and equalize the score. Instead, UConn puts a little distance between them and the Bulls. And they are less than 40 minutes away now on their home field from a conference championship appearance against the Mustangs.
For USF, that has to be pretty disappointing coming out in the second half like that, giving Ribeiro just that little bit of space so that she can slip it in to the far post. But for USF to start out like that, it's just kind of deflating. They're really going to have to respond right here.
The look on Carletta Fennefoss's face when we had that tight shot on Ribeiro, you could see Fennefoss standing kind of in the top left of your screen. hands on her hips, just glaring back, wondering how in the world that just happened. That look said it all.
A look of frustration.
Evelyn VA needs to try and ignite her Bulls. Letitia Skeet, and she misstruck it wide left of the net. Not sure if she was trying to shoot or center, but either way, it was off the mark.
Yeah, that would have been a very tough shot to sneak past Emily Armstrong. Really needed to cut it back across the box on the ground. Look for VA again. Just outnumbered by UConn defenders.
Vince Aguirre seems to be the one player so far this half who the Bulls are most attacking on the offensive end. Hochstetler in the middle. Back to VA. Far side now, and Trudy Carter. She releases. Finds VA. She was almost tackled in the box. I think USF may have felt she was. And UConn comes away with it as Rachel Hill blows by a defender. You give that girl one little inch, and she's going to beat you. Hill loves to run. She almost found Ribeiro. Alana Moore. Back to Vince Aguirre. Vince Aguirre, not a bad idea. It was off wide left. Once in a while, you, as a defender, you might press up and see an opening. Take it.
And here's another look. She takes that opening as a defender. If you see that opportunity, you go for it. You go forward, especially up 2-0.
Ribeiro looking for a dagger. Feeds Hill too far forward. Stayed inbounds just for a second.
UConn is just so quick in transition. You know, about a minute ago, Evelyn VA looks like she's about to get a shot off on net, but then seconds later, they're flying down the field. They're just so quick.
Hill was going to throw in, but instead, she'll give it up to her teammate, the defender, Leanne Keegans, who ran all the way up. Well, not a bad idea from Ribeiro, just such a low-scoring place on the field. That one went wide of the net. The Huskies scored in the 38th minute, and they struck again in the 50th minute. Ribeiro splits the defense, and a foul called. This one's going to warrant a card.
That's a good call.
A booking here early in the second half. Grace Adams.
You just can't try to tackle from behind. That's going to get called every single time.
Even though she didn't go in with a slide, you're right. That's a good call. And did not slip by a veteran official in Noel Cotterell. And because of that mistake, the UConn Huskies are going to have a free kick just a few strides outside the top of the box. It's our first booking of the semifinal. Grace Adams receives the explanation as to why she was issued that yellow card. So Ribeiro will take it. She just scored her 20th goal of the season, and now on a set piece, she will strike again. But will she dump it off to a teammate?
Kat Elliott's lining the wall up to cover that near post. She says, I got the far post. We'll see what happens right here as the UConn players are lined up far.
Ribeiro down and to that same spot she scored from a minute ago, but a diving save by Elliott. You're right, she had the far post covered.
Yeah, that was a good play by Kat Elliott. Got her wall lined up so that Ribeiro couldn't slip it in near, and then going far, Kat Elliott has enough time to get there.
VA heads it down into the middle. Well, good effort by Trudy Carter. Oh boy, Ribeiro almost broke free. Still not out of harm's way, and it's cleared out by Burney. Blethen rips it up the field. USF kind of on their heels right now. They need to get control of this game in a heartbeat, or it's going to get out of control quickly.
Good job by Kelly Burney coming all the way across the field to defend there.
Andrea Hawksdaughter centers to Jordan Listro and gets it right back. Good footwork. VA tried to just slip it through, and instead she fell. Urbanek and Altrui came on to replace Alexa Casimiro and Maddie Dom, who both started, but have not returned since. Headed back forward into no man's land. A little bit of frustration there from Alana Moore. She struck it up the field, and nobody broke after it. UConn pressuring deep in the defensive end for USF. Blethen gets it right back. Deflected out of bounds, so Hawksdaughter will throw in. Here's Letitia Skeet, one of the best players in the conference. Into the corner, she beats Vinciguerra, and the two collide. The ball stays in play. Official says play on. Hawksdaughter needs some help. Listro, and over to Blethen. Grace Adams in the middle. Nothing doing. Urbanek and Altrui both there. Rachel Hill, how did she keep possession there?
I don't know. There's a lot of pressure on her, though.
Great takeaway by the Bulls. Carter. And Listro just kind of swung her leg at it. USF fortunate to keep it. Play out to the far side. Well, that's a tough place to nearly turn the ball over with Ribeiro having 40 yards of green in front of her. USF being patient, trying to find the right spot. Here's Carter. Well, they can't go through her.
Hey, Brendan, I have to say, I think the fatigue is starting to set in for USF when they get the ball. Just not a lot of runs being made up top.
Altrui. Wonderful sliding tackle by Kelly Burney to poke it free. If she doesn't connect with that, UConn almost certainly had got a good shot. Instead, in the middle, Hill was there. It's a goal kick. Boy, the Huskies are going for the jugular. We are almost 15 minutes into the second half. And UConn right now is in control. Burney made that really nice slide, but it didn't take long before the Huskies took the ball back offensively again.
She's really played well here this week.
She played a very effective role on Wednesday night. Looking for VA. Emily Armstrong comes out and gets it. Got a shoulder nudge from the freshman, but incidental contact. Armstrong kicks it away. Huskies lead by 2 goals from their 2 leading goal scorers this season, Ribeiro and Hill. That's Robbo Hawksdaughter on the far side.
Grace Adams with not too many people to play it to with right now.
Carter's been a pesky little midfielder here this half. She tries to find VA. Can't keep it at her feet. I hate to say it, Evelyn VA has really not done much at all in the 2 games here in the conference tournament.
You know, and some of that might have to do with trying to do too much at times. You know, that ball right there probably would have been nice to see her get the ball at her feet, keep it, play it, and then make that run. But just trying to turn there when really just the opportunity is not really there for her.
A couple of UConn ladies coming back in. Alex Casimiro returns, and Jen Balzan in her first opportunity of the game. They are replacing Urbanek. And I did not see who else came off. I'll try to get that to you in a moment. Ribeiro in the corner. Keeps it in play along the line. And she got knocked down quickly. Hochstadter sends it up the field. Great move in the backfield. Sabrina Toole. This is Ribeiro. Boy, she wanted to shoot that. Toole sends it back over. Carter with some space. Got around one sliding defender. Andrea Hochstadter in the middle. USF with a chance. The A in the middle. Turns and did not really put a good shot on it. Missed it off wide to the right. The idea, okay, but she's kind of bent over at the waist when she actually kicked the ball. It didn't really seem like she got much behind it.
She really wants to do that turn. We've seen her attempt it a couple of times here tonight. Successfully executes the turn, but just wide of the goal there.
Mentioned Urbanic came out. Alana Moore also on the bench now here in that 60th minute substitution.
Obviously, Hill and Ribeiro have had some really nice shots from outside of the 18 tonight and been successful, but both of these keepers are really, really good, and it's going to take the perfect shot to beat either Kat Elliott or Emily Armstrong, and that's just happened to Kat Elliott tonight, but taking these shots long range against Emily Armstrong is probably, it's going to be tough.
Vince Agueda in the middle of the field. Skeet running after it, right back to the freshman defender. She's got room to go. Into the middle. And over to Altrui. She released it right into a defender. And Listro clears it. Less than half an hour left in the game. And at the moment, the UConn Huskies have a commanding 2-goal lead. I say commanding because USF, despite a really good effort, has only managed one shot on goal the whole game. Evelyn VA was just cracked in the middle. Listro finds Adams. She wanted to shoot, and the defense came from behind. Letitia Skeet challenges. Play on. Anybody who says soccer is not a physical game hasn't paid attention to this one as Skeet misses wide left. There's been a lot of pushing and shoving in this game.
Letitia Skeet gets this ball, and I think she's trying to look far post, but just kind of mishits it. Tough angle, and she's having to go against Toriana Patterson there, and she was prepared for it.
Skeet, hands on her hips. Trying to figure out how to put one better on net. He's had a couple of opportunities here in the second half. USF needs to try and score a goal here soon so they don't face a 2-goal deficit late. Grace Adams reverses sides of the field. This is Carter in the box. Centering pass. Skeet is there, and she couldn't control it. Oh, she had a perfect shot in the making. Instead, played up to Ribeiro. She sends it forward. Casimiro's onside, and in the foot race, Fennefoss able to pull it free. Listro to the near side now. Oh, Letitia Skeet will just have nightmares about the way that one never stayed at her foot. I mean, she could have controlled and shot and had a really good look from right in front of the net.
It's tough. I mean, in the box, getting the ball right there to your feet, you don't have much time with it. This ball comes in. I mean, you have to literally take the perfect touch. Gets too far from her. Either hit that one time, which would have been really tough with her back kind of to the goal, but needed a much better touch than that.
Foul called as Ribeiro was held off the ball. Oh, my gosh, they're going to call Ribeiro on the foul. She can't believe it. Both players were definitely holding each other. No, truth be told, I can see why it was called that way. Ribeiro got her arm around the outside of
USF. She's arguing she was being held in tight, which has probably got some truth to it. Listro plays toward VA. Too strong back out top. Andrea Hawksdaughter double teamed, and she lost it. Altrui comes around, and that one goes out of bounds off the Bulls. Substitution coming. It's a new UConn Husky. Reagan Chiappa, the freshman defender from Bedford, New Hampshire. So a defensive replacement here for Altrui. And a tip of the cap to that young lady who's played very well today for Connecticut. Final 25 minutes. Huskies lead by a couple, but the Bulls are fighting with all their might. Ribeiro has played every minute of this game. She's on the far side. Toole. Lost it. Here's VA. To the middle. Skeet. Oh, it was deflected by Vinciguerra. Skeet still has it. Knocked down in the box. No whistle. Hawksdaughter near side. USF knocking on the door. They just can't finish it.
The way Evelyn VA used her body there to let that ball through, to give Letitia Skeet that opportunity. The ball is rolling away from Letitia Skeet, so to hit that shot left-footed is going to be a challenge no matter what.
Letitia Skeet back into the box. Armstrong wanted to take it. Huskies clear it anyways.
USF's really applying the pressure right now up top.
Blethen gives off to Adams. Looking for Skeet and a whistle. It's a foul on Connecticut.
Maybe a little momentum shift right here.
I think so. If for no other reason, USF is just getting good looks. They're playing with some confidence. Imagine how much more they would feel had they just been able to put one of them in the net. About 75% of the way through regulation. And they'll set up here on a set piece. Listro to strike it from about 40 yards away. Hawksdaughter turns and launched it into a defender. Carter spins back to the middle. She rolls one in cleanly, but a diving stop coming at the ball. Emily Armstrong has it.
Another tough shot from pretty far out. Emily Armstrong prepared for it, is able to easily pick it up. Might have been better off just trying to find another pass and get something working again.
Out of bounds and a Bulls throw in, but a substitution first. Here come both Hamrick and Tuttle back in the game. Letitia Skeet. And it looks like Trudy Carter will both come off. At the same token, Stephanie Ribeiro is leaving the field for the first time. And Alana Moore is coming back in as Ribeiro gets a good round of applause.
She's got some fans here.
I have to imagine Ribeiro will not be out for long. Hamrick looking for something in the middle. VA in a dangerous spot. Two Huskies came down quickly on her. Rachel Hill will go up and play the point now in the offense. Ball rolls out of bounds, far side. If you joined us late, this is our second semifinal of the night. The SMU Mustangs with a thrilling 1-0 win on an 84th minute goal from Claire Oates. SMU beat Memphis earlier and punched their ticket to the title match on Sunday. At the moment, it looks like they would play the Huskies, but SMU does not know yet because USF is really putting up a fight here late. USF on the offensive half. Robbo dumps it off to Andrea Hawksdaughter. Alana Moore. Oh, a beautiful ball sent up for Rachel Hill. Still alive, but too far out in front of Kat Elliott, who dangerously sent it right back into the middle. Ripped just wide right of the net. Wow. Alexa Casimiro had the back of the net on the front of her mind.
But you can tell Kat Elliott here, this is Ribeiro taking this nice strike from out far, but Kat Elliott got that original ball sent back to her, didn't feel like she could pick it up. Bouncing ball in, keepers, when that ball comes into their feet like that, it's a tough situation. She did her best to clear it out, but not ideal where it ended up.
Alexa Casimiro nearly made it 3-0. A third Huskies goal would seem too much for USF to overcome. Now with only 20 minutes left in the game, a 2-0 deficit is a big hole as it is. Hochstadter. Back to Rabo Hochstadter. Carlota Fennefoss, near side to Blethen. Listro in the middle. Trying to get to Hamrick. She does. Hamrick ran into some trouble, and her centering pass was off the mark. Both Hochstadter ran on the far side. Nobody came up to get it. Under 20 minutes left to go in the game. I like the way USF has possessed the ball quite a bit in the second half.
They're definitely trying to keep the ball right now. I think it was just getting a little bit chaotic going back and forth. They're trying to keep it and set something up top, but tough to find a rhythm.
I'm actually kind of impressed with the way UConn is still playing a good game despite the fact USF has had the ball more and honestly seems to be getting some more of the close calls. Clock stops for a brief moment while Alana Moore is laying on the ground there. I don't know if she was cramping up in this awfully cold weather. She gets to her feet and is just kind of hobbling away. Might be dealing with a small cramp as she comes over to the near sideline. Meanwhile, Peyton Cook waiting to check in for the green and gold. Here comes Cook. And that means Altrui will also come back in since Cook was subbed on for Rabo Hochstadter. You see the two of them exchange a high five. No Ribeiro on the field right now for Connecticut, but they may not need her with a 2-0 lead. Still hard-pressed to believe that she wouldn't return at all. USF probably a bubble team right now when you're talking about the NCAA tournament. They've had a really nice season. A win today would give them a very good chance to get into the tournament no matter what. A loss today, and it would still be a big question mark. Rachel Hill shoots, and it almost went in. A tremendous save by Elliott. She was really hunting for that left post. It was awfully tight.
She's really taken some quality shots tonight. Looks far post again, but Kat Elliott, another great save. Here's Rachel Hill outside the 18, looking far. Kat Elliott dives, able to knock it away. Hats off to Kat Elliott tonight. She's made some really tough stops.
The officials signaled for a stoppage in play again as UConn was just standing around trying to kill time. Here comes a corner kick. Headed near the net, and it goes the other direction. Still alive. Sent back toward the low post. And Evelyn VA finds it at her foot. She fights through a couple defenders, but not the last one. VA just refusing to give in. And she tackles Vinciguerra from behind. Wow.
Getting a little chippy.
How about a lot chippy? We got a card coming. Vinciguerra is about to get a booking, and that's why. You just can't do that.
Yeah, she's obviously a little frustrated
she
there.
She gets a red card.
Yeah.
Vinciguerra. She doesn't like that she was given a red card. Toriana Patterson is the senior defender. Wow.
Toriana Patterson needs to probably be a little bit careful here as well.
I mean,
she's obviously frustrated with Evelyn VA there coming at her from behind, but the knee to the chest there, a bit unnecessary.
Wow. Well, you really don't like to see that kind of play, and obviously it's frustrating that she is gone. It's a UConn kick, but Vinciguerra receives the red card, and she is done.
This is interesting right now with just over 17 minutes to go, down 2-0. Now UConn playing down a man. This might be the momentum change that USF needed.
I really don't want to see that the Huskies shoot themselves in the foot to lead to that. But we'll see if USF decides to step on the gas pedal. So for the remainder of the game, the Huskies play down a man. The only reason there was hesitation in giving the red card was because our head official, Noel Cotterell, actually had trouble getting it out of his pocket. But he decided that was a red card right away. Well, at this point, I would think you're probably going to see Stephanie Ribeiro come back in sooner than later. Letitia Skeet, Trudy Carter both waiting to check in for the Bulls as we have another UConn corner kick coming. I beg your pardon, a UConn throw-in near the corner. So Vinciguerra has been sent off. Toward the middle of the box. Of course, Vinciguerra, just on top of the fact that she is gone for this game, she's unavailable for the conference title match as well. That doesn't mean UConn will play down a man in that match, but she is unavailable personally on Sunday afternoon. A frustrating end to the conference season for Vinciguerra, who would be eligible to return in the NCAA tournament should the Huskies continue their season after Sunday. Andrea Hochstadter dumps it into the corner. Jess Hamrick on the backside waiting for it. VA heads it over the top of the net. Good cross coming in from Tuttle.
I like how USF, instead of taking that shot outside the box, they were able to work the ball out wide and get a quality cross in. A good opportunity there.
Skeet and Carter both back out there. Tuttle just made that nice cross. She checks out. And so does the defender, Peyton Cook.
This also has to just change the strategy a little bit for Coach Santiras. Up 2-0, you're probably hoping to give your players a little bit of a rest. Obviously, not too big of a lead, but now playing down a man, you can't take the 2-0 lead lightly.
No, it's hard to not continue to go back to the red card from Vinciguerra because it was just a silly, self-inflicted mistake. There was just no reason for her to give that extra nudge to Evelyn VA. Especially right in front of the USF bench with the official right there. I mean, if you're going to take a shot, I suppose in terms of gamesmanship, you do it when nobody's looking, but my goodness. So a bad mistake by Connecticut, but at the moment their 2-0 lead is holding strong.
I hate to say that might be a bit of a freshman mistake. You know, getting frustrated, you have to look at the bigger picture and just let it go.
Bulls throw in on the far side with less than 15 minutes left in regulation. USF must score twice to force overtime. So far, once has been enough of a task. Although they've had a much better second half, still technically only 2 Bulls shots on goal. VA back to Listro, who could not keep the ball moving. To the far side now. Burney launches with some touch. Headed down. Carter back over to the far side. Andrea Hochstadter. And that one's cleared away. Well done by Heidi Drool. Grace Adams gives back. Listro goes hard into a Husky, and they both pop up. Hills throw in. A lot of ruckus crowd at the moment. And VA, you can really tell. You can see all the emotion. She is frustrated as Ribeiro returns.
USF needs to really dig deep here. I know that they're tired, and it's been, a long 8-day stretch for them, but there just needs to be, somebody's yelling it down there. I don't know who, but needs to be more movement off the ball.
Jen Balzan over to the bench as Ribeiro comes back. She's got the ball at her feet. Beats Listro. Tried to spin around her a second time, and that one did not go her way. UConn playing down 1. Len Santiris out onto the field, and he is hot. Len Santiris is screaming at the official that there was no foul called on that. And a yellow card issued to Jordan Listro. This game is getting awfully chippy. Len Santiris is being withheld by the near side substitution official. So Listro takes the booking for USF on the hard tackle. Ribeiro perfectly throws it through her legs. In the corner, holding it. Off Hamrick, out of bounds. Ribeiro waiting for the throw in. She finds Rachel Hill. Hill keeps it in. Well, even though the Huskies are down a man, they've got a 2-0 lead, so they don't really need to feel an incredible sense of urgency. They basically just got to try and play keep away as best they can, and certainly just keep it out of dangerous spots in the middle. We have another UConn free kick.
A couple big moves have this crowd going here.
There's no doubt that everybody is alive and awake.
Yeah, the best thing for UConn right now, like you said, is just to possess, run some time off the clock here with a little over 11 minutes to go.
Patterson sends it forward. Off of USF, out of bounds. The UConn Huskies were upset in the semifinal round last year by the Cincinnati Bearcats when they gave up a goal very late. Within just a couple of minutes of the game being finished, Cincinnati scored and then won in PKs. Out of bounds and a goal kick. So the Huskies definitely have that fresh on their mind, and a player obviously of Ribeiro's caliber, but also the upper class leadership on this UConn team. Even though they went to the NCAA tournament last year anyways, they want to win the conference title.
A conference title would be nice for this group and for Coach Santiris. So many important seniors on this roster.
These were the top 2 teams in the preseason coaches poll, and in a lot of respects, they have lived up to that billing all season long. Ribeiro feeds Hill in the corner where they just try to keep it as best they can, honestly, out of their defensive half of the field. They're not really pushing to score with a 2-goal cushion. They could even afford a mistake. Time is on the Husky side. That one was not controlled well by Hamrick. Husky throwing.
USF starting to leave some more players up top now. They know they need a goal, 2 really, here in the next 9 minutes or so. Starting to push some more people up top.
Leanne Keegan sends it 3 miles in the air. Headed over to Andrea Hochstadter. She managed to keep it for a moment and just slung it forward where VA has to go pressure the keeper. USF has had a valiant effort tonight, but they are running out of time. Great move on the far side. Trudy Carter sends it near side to Hamrick. USF tried to dump it to a cutting VA who never moved.
Miscommunication right there.
Well, with the lack of that 11th player on the field, UConn still has 4 defenders across the back. They've just taken 1 player out of the midfield. I don't think under really any strategy you would ever take somebody out of the back unless you were trailing and it was late in the game, you desperately needed a goal, maybe you press up. But having 4 defenders across the back would be critical at this stage of the game with a 2-goal lead. UConn, at the end of the day, is 8 minutes away from advancing to the American Conference Championship on Sunday afternoon. That game will be broadcast live on ESPNU at 2 o'clock. The winner of this one gets the SMU Mustangs. Evelyn VA over to Carter. She strikes, and she nearly put it in, just over the crossbar.
That was close, very close. Great touch by Trudy Carter to get the ball down to her feet. She really, this ball is bouncing, little touch, left foot shot just over the top. That could have been it.
USF has to capitalize on those kinds of opportunities if they're going to tie this one up. Wonder how many more of those they might have. Bernie kept it in play for a moment, but sent it out. Another substitution. UConn is winning, and there is just over 5 minutes left, so the clock will not stop on this sub. A lot of more returns, and she replaces Reagan Schiappa. We've been back there defensively, Moore a little bit stronger in the defense. Huskies lead by 2, and they'll have a free kick coming. Hope you'll stay tuned for our post-game coverage where we will have a chance to talk with one of the Huskies after the game. Stephanie Ribeiro scored in the second half, her 20th goal of the year. Rachel Hill's 14th goal in the first half put UConn ahead early. Although really it wasn't that early in the half, it was just early in the course of the game. The goal came in the 38th minute. Ball loose in the midfield. Look at Patterson pressing up. Carter. Problem is she can't run at full tilt when she's trying to avoid other defenders. Listro to the near side now, and Fennefoss back foots it through. Hamrick to VA in that same spot she didn't cut last time. And the freshman Evelyn, you can see again, she kind of put those hands on her head in frustration, like, how did that happen again?
Evelyn has a bright future at USF. She's so strong as a freshman. It'll be nice to see how she develops, even through her first offseason coming up in the spring.
You know, you talk about strength. You can see in some of the players we've seen on the field, like Stephanie Ribeiro, like Memphis's Valerie Sanderson. Obviously, as center forwards, those players are awfully strong, literally, as Skeet turns around, gives up top to Carter. She shoots with the defense deeper than the keeper. Went wide to the right. Corner kick coming. Anyways, I think Evelyn Vienne, and I mean this wholeheartedly, I think she would benefit from a strength and conditioning program in the offseason to continue and strengthen her core and her lower half, the way she drives the ball already. You're right, she's a really good player, and she spent some time in the weight room and working on her agility in the offseason. She could be a really good goal scorer.
She could definitely follow in the footsteps of those other players in the conference.
Clock stops with 4:43 as Armstrong is attended. Armstrong had pulled all the way out. I'm surprised that she is, at the moment, appearing to be injured, although maybe she got banged up when she came out near Letitia Skeet. But Armstrong seems to be okay. Let's see if maybe this gives us a better idea. Not really. Armstrong, maybe she was cramping up at some point. I'm not sure. Anyway, USF has a corner kick coming. Andrea Huxdaughter on the kick. It's a short corner. VA. Huskies pull it away. And the Huskies have a big fast break with Grace Adams trying to close down on Ribeiro. Through ball to the nation's leading scorer is sent too far ahead. Adams back up to Hamrick on a game that is being played at a frantic pace late. Letitia Skeet with Patterson on her hip. Centers it, and it goes right to Armstrong. USF is 4 minutes away from having to hope for an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament. Armstrong, a great punt down the field. Hill and Ribeiro. It's Ribeiro. Lobbed it ahead. Hill is there, and she can't quite put it in. So close from putting this on ice.
They're just so good in transition, Ribeiro and Hill. The chemistry they have, just the quick 1-2 touches and passes. Another look at it, slips Hill through that gap, gets a touch on it, just a little more. Very close.
Well, Kelly Burney didn't give up on the play either, and you can't ignore that.
She hasn't given up all night. She's been really tough for this USF defense tonight and on Wednesday as well.
Clock continues to tick down, and we have another stoppage. The head official asks for the clock to stop. Ribeiro is saying, hey, they got to give me enough space. That one rolls out. It's a Husky throw-in. Huskies are just trying to keep that ball down in the corner and kill as much time as they can. That one goes off of Hill, and it will be a goal kick. 3 minutes to go in our second semifinal. Sent up the field. Evelyn Vienne. Evelyn has some space. Pulled away by Patterson. Up the right side now, and Blethen heads it clear. Blethen almost twisted her ankle as she came down on it, and then she drilled it into her own teammate. It's just been that kind of day for the Bulls. They've had such a good game. They've played really, really good defense for the most part. But Rachel Hill with a fascinating strike. Stephanie Ribeiro finished in the 50th minute, too. Hamrick had it deflected as she tried to center. Listro. Andrea Huxdaughter. Wide, low left. 10th shot of the game by the USF Bulls. Blethen checks out of the game. Peyton Cook takes her spot in the final minute, 35. A move there to put the senior back out there for Denise Schulte Brown's group. Ball loose in the midfield. Play on. Final minute and change. And it's jarred free. Altrui trying to keep it clear. Good move. And Rachel Hill just sends it into no man's land. The UConn Huskies have played tremendous soccer tonight. And even though for the last almost 20 minutes of the game they've played down a man, Connecticut is going to play in Sunday's championship game. A date with the SMU Mustangs and the only team in conference who did not lose to UConn. That game was a 0-0 draw after double overtime. It was played down in Dallas. It'll be the first time the Mustangs have had to play here against UConn in 2016. Final 10 seconds of the game as Emily Armstrong sends it toward the midfield. A mighty effort by USF, but not enough against one of the top teams in the country. And it's all over. There's the whistle. The UConn Huskies are playing in Sunday's championship match against the SMU Mustangs after a 2-0 defeat of the USF Bulls. A happy group here at Maroney Stadium, and we are fortunate to have a tremendous championship on hand on Sunday. You can tell the Huskies, while they're excited, they expected to be in this spot. More distraught on the USF side, and they deserve a wonderful congratulations on a tremendous season in 2016. Should they not go to the NCAA tournament, they will finish 12-4-3 with 2 of those losses here to Connecticut. Truly a remarkable season by USF. They have nothing to hang their head about. Congratulations on a wonderful campaign, and we will keep our fingers crossed that they'll go to the tournament. But tonight's all about the Huskies and their 2-0 win. Back to wrap it up next on the American Digital Network.
Hit deep to left center, and that is over the wall and gone.
There it is, fly ball deep to left field. This one is gone.
And it wasn't an easy road to get here.
No question. They had to go through Cincinnati, Temple, and Memphis.
Rise up, get your hands up. We're taking over the game. And if you're looking for change, I suggest you do the same. Come on, y'all, it's time to rise up. Get your hands up. We're taking over the game. Looking for change, I suggest you do the same.
There are other people just like you. Driven, determined. Those who use passion to spark creation. Others who are ready to unite and discover together. It all starts with you. Continues with us, the University of South Florida.
This is a classroom.
This is a lab.
This is a study break.
This is family.
This is our backyard.
This is UConn.
Connecticut Huskies with a 2-0 win over the USF Bulls tonight to advance to the championship match on Sunday afternoon. UConn with a really nice effort all the way through today, and we are hoping to shortly be joined by one of the 2 goal scorers and the nation's leading goal scorer, Stephanie Ribera. So we will wait for her momentarily, and actually it looks like she is down standing on the field with Haley Outen, so let's go down that way.
Stephanie, another great game for you tonight. This was a really emotional, physical battle. What did you do to kind of keep your team calm and just fight through that?
We knew it was going to be physical, so we just kept our composure and just played our game.
2 great goals tonight by both you and Rachel. How are you guys continuing to just keep impressing people like this?
I don't know. We're just playing our game and doing what we do best, I guess.
Last season, you were knocked out of the tournament in the semifinals. This year, you get to play in the championship here on your home field. What does that mean to you as a senior?
It means a lot. Last year, definitely, that was heartbreaking. So it's nice to get through and play at home for the finals.
All right. Well, good luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
Back up to you, Brendan.
Well, it has been an awfully fun quarterfinal and semifinal round here so far in this tournament. 4 pretty good games. The 2 quarterfinal games decided in penalty kicks, and then the 2 semifinal matches here decided in regulation. But 2 exciting games, no doubt about that, and we will have a 1 versus 3 for what that's worth in the championship round. Big thank you to our entire American Digital Network crew on their work here the last couple of days. We're looking forward to having the men's soccer tournament next weekend, by the way. We'll have the semifinals on Friday, November 11th, and the championship game on ESPN3 Sunday, November 13th. You can check out theamerican.org for all that information. On Sunday, though, at 2 o'clock, ESPNU. It's the Huskies and the SMU Mustangs for the conference title. Hope you can join us. For Haley Outen, I'm Brendan Gulick. Good night from Maroney Stadium, and congrats to the Huskies.